Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can. And I continue with Gamedec blind. Now, I'm pretty sure all of those people are being forced to farm loot boxes. So let's talk with their overseer and see if I can...
Please don't interrupt their work.
see if I can get something out of him. Could you at least tell me who it is that you're watching and why? They are low city scum. They have got tasks they need to focus on, so don't bother them. They won't speak to you. I could explain how you're interfering with the delicate process of specialized therapy, but you should be a sweetheart and leave. Yeah, so it is probably like a prison of some sorts. Because he's talking about how they are lowlife and I am interfering with their therapy. It just so happens I'm a doctor. Can you tell me more about this therapy? Ever heard of play therapy? Well, it looks like this. They treat ill souls with work and collaboration outside with hands in the dirt. Obviously, they take medication and stimulants to stay stable, but they have a right to feel unwell. They are in rehab, after all. I heard the orange folks experience pain, memory loss, speech difficulties, and... that's enough. Slow down there. They pay me for supervising, and I supervise, okay? Now, would you kindly get off this field? Yeah, to be honest, it was a mistake to bring it up in the first place, because that will cast suspicion upon them. You know, he will be wondering whether someone ratted him out. I'll be going then. Have a nice day. I wish you good weather and a good harvest. The software inside of my employer's helmet increases the speed of virtual time in the wearer's immediate surroundings. This makes the users able to harvest many times faster, increasing the chance of gaining loot boxes. Lately there have been accidents reported. People faint and are logged off. All the workers are from the slums of Low City. Memory problems, loss of spatial awareness, slurred speech, weakness, physical ailments. Everyone has the same symptoms. My employers are heavy med and stimulant users. All the orange folk use free and anonymous freemium accounts. One of the workers is clearly overseeing the others, keeping tabs on who they are talking with. Yeah, they are forced to collect loot boxes. Are either forced or manipulated into collecting and selling loot boxes. Okay, so I have to get back to the cemetery, right? Because wasn't that where I was supposed to meet him? After I figure out what's wrong? So basically I need to kill myself. In some kind. I can jump off the roof, I guess. Still sleeping? Although wait, jumping off the roof, I think it doesn't work. Oh, it does. I had to give Stanley a preliminary report.
Howdy. I can see you've wandered off the trail.
I'm the sheriff in this town. Not many players know about this place, especially newcomers. What brings you here? Wild West, the sheriff, it all added up. What do you want? I'm doing Stanley a favor. He's a friend of mine. He asks me to talk to you on his behalf, if you don't mind, of course. But before allow me to proceed with the formalities. As the Sheriff of High Rock, I officially welcome you to our community. I'm here to help beginners uphold the law, the game's rules, that is. Welcome, Rancher. I reached out my hand. And the sheriff looked me in the eyes, smiled, and shook my hand. Not only will I answer all of your questions, but you'll receive something else. A welcome package and a pouch of coins for your farm. Cool, ain't it? Let's get down to the saloon and have a drink. What do you say? I don't have enough of a level. Sheriff, it's a bit awkward, but I don't have access to the saloon. Not a problem. With my invitation, you can enter any public building. Let's go. I might have a job for you that will get you something more than gold coins. Gamedec. Let's take a walk. Hank, it's good to see you. How long until you're done? I just logged in. 6 weeks left. Thanks for the advice, Sheriff. Pretzel is something. Howdy, Ben. How's the achievement going? You got it? Howdy, Sheriff. I'm about to crack the physics behind those bundles. Today's the day, it has to be. What's the achievement you were working on? The Great Pyramid of Bundles.
Sunset deals are the best part of the game.
I'll be the first player to get it. Hey Sheriff, they vandalized Mr. Adams' something. There's the saloon. You're blocked from accessing it, but we'll fix that little problem promptly. The Sheriff typed a few commands into the game's interface. I saw that now I had the access to the saloon. Be my guest. Not a bad trick. Oh, it's one of the privileges of being a sheriff. I can grant access to the saloon to anyone I want. First, let me ask you this. What's your poison? Whiskey? Sure, I'll drink with him. That's probably going to make him more positively inclined. I'll have whiskey. Bottoms up then, to the meeting. I'm telling you, friend, this stuff might be digital, but it tastes just like the real thing. It's phenomenal. Where would you like to begin? You called me a Gamedec while we were in the graveyard. Why? Word travels fast. It's quite extraordinary having a Gamedec in High Rock. People get, excited. They are curious why the Orange folk hired you. Hell, I'm curious myself, but I respect that your investigation might require secrecy. On the other hand, I could help you. I know everyone here, you see. Who did you get this information from? Let's just say that I noticed a new guy hanging around a public farm asking questions. They texted me, I launched the game, and here we are. Now that there's a Gamedec in my town, I would love to offer him a job. If you're interested, that is. Can you tell me a bit more? Listen, I have a feeling our goals overlap. High Rock has a problem with certain player, the Outlaw. I've been informed that he might be involved in prohibited activities. I reported it to the admins, but the Outlaw keeps coming back with new accounts. I need solid proof to ban them from this world for good. I know you're running an investigation. I think it's connected to the Outlaw. Can you share your observations? We could work together. I am a bit worried that he might be like a double agent. But I guess I am naturally kind of trusting, like I am willing to give people the benefit of the doubt, so... Of course, I don't see why this should remain a secret. I was hired by the farmers from the Orange Dream. They have a problem with gameplay stability. They keep getting disconnected. The Orange folk are exploited for loot box farming. Their bodies and their gear are overburdened. They literally collapse from exhaustion. The sheriff finished his glass of whiskey. Hard to believe. It's all hard to believe. Something like that in my town. Do you think the person responsible for this is also here in the game? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the overseer is not the actual boss of the operation. He's just a step over the workers. I think whoever's doing this probably wouldn't waste time on, you know, controlling them in the game itself. Like, he probably has stuff to do in the real world. I think it's unlikely. I'm almost certain that the outlaw is responsible for the Orange folks' problems. I've suspected them for a long time to be behind all of this. I bet the outlaw is scaring the kids into toiling and giving away their spoils. I despise these kinds of players. If you agree to work with me, I'll tell you my plan to catch the outlaw. You'd play a central role in it. You've convinced me, Sheriff. I'll work for you. He offered what I usually charge for searching for someone in Virtualia. I nodded, then realized he hadn't told me what the job actually was. We shook hands. You never signed contracts in my line of work. Alright, let's cut to the chase. First, I need you to confirm the outlaw's location. When you do that, find out whether they work alone or have accomplices, then we'll meet up and draw up a detailed plan. What is it exactly you want me to do? Confirm whether or not that thug is still in their hideout, the guild house. A sheriff can't belong to guilds or enter their houses. Damn, I know, but the rules are rules. Just find out if the outlaw works alone or not. What are you going to do in the meantime, Sheriff? I'm going to collect evidence against the outlaw and inform the admins about our plans. I'll also have some real-life obligations. What do we know about the outlaw? I'm sure the player uses many different accounts and characters. Recently, they've been known as the outlaw. They were in some shady business with Black Rook, a known hacker and fraud who has been permabanned from the game. Rook did a lot of nasty stuff. He once hacked our banker, Mr. Adams, and gave him an insulting name. The next update should finally fix it. Could you give me a deputy star? The sheriff burst out laughing. I don't have one on me, but since you care about it so much, I'll try to get one for you. Just one thing, I don't work for free. There's real money in it for you, after the job is done, that is. Gamedecs were generally paid upon completion of a job. That's all for now, I'll get to work. Wait for me in the saloon after you found out all of the answers. I'll be there at nightfall and then we'll think of a plan. Hold on, let me give you a welcome package. He made several gestures and opened the game's options. Welcome to Harvest Time. Please accept this humble gift. You've received 3 mystery gifts. I can't wait to open them for you. Come to the ranch. You've received a gift of 500 coins. You can use them to buy wonderful items, for example from me. Let's meet up. Thanks, Sheriff, that's a nice gesture. The pleasure's all mine, friend. It's time for me to go. I have things to do in the Realium. I still had an obligation towards Stanley. I had to understand the Orange folks' problem. I wish you good luck. He extended his hand towards me. See you later, Sheriff. We will meet at nightfall, Gamedec. He tapped the brim of his hat and left the game. One of the women beckoned me from upstairs and pointed to the stairs that run along the saloon's outer wall. My name is Leanne. We could help each other. Let's meet behind the saloon. The woman must have been listening on our conversation. She wanted to meet me outside.
Welcome to the High Rock Saloon. Can I get you anything?
I remember that Bob Zappa from TNP told me I had a chance to contact him through the bartender. I just needed to say the password. Pour me a drink, would you? You need a premium account in order to buy drinks here. Right, I get it. Tell me about the local rumors. I'm sorry, but I can only serve drinks. I'm an automatic character, not a player. Please, don't look so surprised. A player hired me to fill in for them as the bartender, their town profession. This paid service lets you keep a role despite being absent. If you're interested in other paid services, please visit the game's website. Now, can I get you anything? I looked at the bartender knowingly and whispered, Mycorrhiza. The bartender's eyes flashed green. I heard a familiar beep, and the face of my old friend appeared before my eyes.
Hey, pal! I'm in a meeting. I can't talk right now.
I'll sense you when I'm done. This could take a while. Sure thing, later. I wonder if he remembered what he promised me. Oh, wait, but how do I actually get out? Well, I guess like that. What time does the Midnight Express? Right after the sunset, before the first coyote howls. Before the first coyote howls in the steps. Damn it.
Yeehaw! Is that my favorite rancher?
Can you show me a list of new players in High Rock? Your ambition shames me, cowboy. Dozens of players enter every day. I could start listing their nicks, but that would take... Alright, I get it. Narrow it down to premium players who started playing in the last 4 days. Now you're talking. Here's the results. 2 players. Matthew, which is me, an outlaw. I dare say the former is you. But that doesn't make sense because I'm not a premium player. They are all mine. Magnificent fruit, aren't they? They are the Midas' apples. I wonder if they are all here. Let's talk, Gamedec. And the woman looked noble and serious, though she had kept looking around as though she was afraid of something. When she noticed me, her face took on an imperious look. You're a Gamedec, aren't you? Yes, I'm working on a certain case here. I accidentally overheard your conversation with the sheriff, and I think I might have a simple but lucrative job for you. I'd like to provide me with intel about the sheriff, who he is, what he does, how many zeros he has in his bank accounts, and so on. Anything you can tell me about his life in the Realium would be useful. Can I count on your help? No, that sounds illegal. That's like super doxing. Why do you need this information? I'm considering entering into a financial agreement with this person. I would like to make sure he's solvent and trustworthy. That is all. No, I don't think so. That seems weird. Although, to be honest, now that I think about it, spying on other people is what PIs usually do, right? In reality. I'm afraid I won't have time for this job. She looked quite surprised. What a disappointment. Should you change your mind, find Rusty Ed and tell him you work for me. You would be granted access to the guild house. I suddenly felt the air move, as if someone had walked right past me, but nobody was there. I resumed the conversation. I'm terribly sorry, but I got distracted for a moment. I noticed, well, if you were to find some time after all, the job awaits you. I'll be at the guild house. Goodbye. Yeah, I might have to agree to that just to get inside. It's if I'm nice to the other players, I won't stop you any longer. Have a good game. Oh, I could program myself to join a guild. Okay, I'll consider that, but first I just want to talk to everyone. You're sleeping, but I will wake you up. Wake up, buddy.
Greetings, new player.
Was I snoring? Sorry. Thank goodness it's harvest. There's no snoring here, unless I missed some patch. Hello, I'm a Gamedec and I'm the guildmaster of Rusty Ed's guild. Just a fun fact. You want to ask an old-timer about farming tricks? Go ahead.
Sunset deals are the best
Rusty
part of the
Ed
day.
has a lot of stories up his sleeve. Tell me a story. I've got 3 stories today. The topics are a legendary artifact, how I became a sheriff, and an old game systems. Well, tell me all of them.
Want to see my farm? I got the premium decoration.
Have there been any other systems here? The old man closed his eyes and smiled. It used to be a game with ambitions. It was all about portraying something genuine, physical labor, soil, dirt. Things you don't get in Realium. You took your spade, you know, and there were roots in the ground that you had to dig through. There were snails now and then. You grabbed them and either threw them onto your neighbor's field or you killed
Add me to
them.
your friends,
I
partner.
hate snails. It's funny how he says you don't get that stuff in Realium, which at first I was baffled by because you get hard work all the time in reality. That's what reality is about. But then I sort of realized that what he might mean is, soil, dirt, and actually planting stuff. You literally don't get that in reality anymore because most of the food is like hydroponic, lab grown or whatever, and the ground is so polluted that most people don't even see like real trees or real grass or whatever because they live in those giant megalopolises and they have those it's called ABB, anti-biology barrier or whatever, anti-biohazard barrier, that shields the cities from the natural environment outside. So working on a farm was hard, alright. People said they had muscle aches after going back to Realium. That was neurotransmission at work. You visualized your garden, then you get lost in your work, digging up dirt, sweating, and seeing the end product of months of work. It was therapeutic. Then upon player request, the devs started to make it easier. They removed fatigue, sped up plant growth, and got rid of adverse weather. And then they introduced premium accounts, subscriptions, microtransactions. And all that was left of the game was the box. Games change according to trends and audience preferences. There are still worlds
Enjoying the game?
like Happy Hunting Grounds with full-on simulation. Trends, schmends. Moneymakers got their hands on it, and they turned something that matters to players into something that mattered to them. I've talked enough, I can answer your questions now. Tell me about the legend of this artifact. Alright, it was about a decade ago. An event was announced
Want to see my farm? I got the premium decoration pack.
that would last all year, a year. It was said that one of the loot boxes would contain a legend of harvest time, an artifact jewel. I could still remember it. It was a house in the game, a house of happiness. It was covered in flowers. It boosted the joy neurotransmitters of whoever was in it. That sort of software can cause an addiction. Didn't they warn anyone about it? I don't know much about that, but let me tell you one thing. A lot more was allowed in games back in the day compared to today. So there was this one player, Ted Godiva, who sold his apartment, everything he had, to improve his chances. He spent a lot of money on boosts. That's how he got the treasure. The house is still hovering somewhere in the game, in Elysium. He settled there in harvest time. He became a Zoanet. He only had enough money to keep his brain alive for a few months. And even while he was dying, he kept smiling. I've read a report on Zoanets. He would need a lot of money to stay alive for years.
Hey, you want to join the gang for the Pumpkin King raid?
And not just for a netrium. An organic brain gets older. Someone would have to keep providing him Everbrain, a regenerative enzyme. Maintaining a netrium liquids the enzyme. It costs a fortune.
I need to log out, but there is so much to do.
Where do I start? You know, we're not all up and about in here. We're not waving our arms around. Our corpses lie still on the couches. Mine at my place, yours at your. And sometimes it's all about speed here, especially with duels. But I mean your neuronal speed, not bodily. If you want to be sheriff, you must beat the previous one. You must be faster, more precise. And that guy was good, everyone could see it, but I noticed something. He would enter the game for up to 3 hours, maybe 4. It was always like that, but once he lingered playing poker, 6 hours, 7, the guy was staggering, dropping off. I noticed his fragile brain, quick but easily fatigued. It was vulnerability. Next time I played him myself, I kept letting him win. I challenged him into a sunset duel after he spent 12 hours here. He couldn't turn it down, that's the rule. He was good, but I could see in his eyes that he had already lost. His eyelids were twitching from the adrenaline rush. It's not adrenaline. Human eyelids are innervated by 2 motor nerves, autonomous and autonomic, part of the sympathetic nervous system. When you're tired, the latter turns off and your eyelids droop, even though consciously you try to raise them. He was just exhausted. So he wouldn't give up without a fight. He knew that would insult me. Don't get me wrong, he was a good guy. He knew I had discovered his weakness. Maybe if he had money, he would have paid to have his neurons enhanced. Maybe that's what the poker was for. I never saw him here again. Maybe he had a breakdown. Or was he fed up with the quick fatigue? That bothered me a bit. Anyway, I was sheriff here for a full month before I lost a duel. But I've never forgotten that guy. He had a vintage nick. Kill them all. Oh! I met him, actually, in another game. Kill them all. I met him. Our paths crossed in Twisted and Perverted World. Really? Hot damn. Well, I'm glad he's still holding up. Lovely weather, isn't it? Oh yes, it is. But it's not how it used to be. Changing seasons, rain, storms. Now it's just sun all the time. That's what the players wanted. They were fed up with rain. Fancy that. I could tell you lots of stories. Do you have any more? Maybe later. I'm tired. What are you doing here, Gramps? So, there are still curious people in the world. I mean people that possess the virtue of curiosity. I'll tell you, I look at those young
you wanna join the
players
gang for the Pumpkin King raid?
and I can see they don't know a thing. Do you know what they do about it? They ask the experienced players for help? Yeah, right, they never ask, they always know better. I played this game for years, I've achieved everything, I know everything, and no one ever asks me a goddamn thing. I see them growing carrots, and I know they would grow faster with a barrel of ice besides them, but does anyone ask? No. And you know why? You tell me, Ed. The Dunning-Kruger effect. Rookies overestimate their knowledge, mentors undersell theirs. But the world is changing too, especially this game. It used to be more true to life, more difficult, although scallywag youngsters would get the bum's rush. But I digress. I bet there's something you want to talk to me about, isn't there? Are you the guildmaster of Rusty Ed's guild? I am. The guild is open to all players of adequate level. What level do I need to be at? In order to join Rusty Ed's guild, I need you to listen to 3 daily stories. I already did, but I won't ask to be admitted yet. Ed, you look like a guy who knows a lot. Do you know any gossip? If you want gossip, you better make friends with Fruity Betty. Now she's a chatterbox. Tell me something about the local sheriff. Do you know that Billy guy? He's been nagging me lately, asking me to admit him to the guild. Him and 2 loyal cowboys of his. You know, that cowboy Ack and the Mad Dog, although the latter doesn't come here often. But I refuse every time they ask. I don't trust them, but keep that to yourself. Wait, but didn't the sheriff say he can't join guilds? Is that a discrepancy that I should pay attention to? Because he can't access the guild house, supposedly. Do you know anything about a player called the Outlaw? Do I know anything? I can't tell you that. The Outlaw is a member of Rusty Ed's guild, just like dozens of other players that ask nicely enough. I could admit you too, kid. Then you could have it out with him, like civilized players. I don't know who he is and I don't really care. But I'd like to take a nap. He yawned and snored. As I was leaving, Ed flinched suddenly, as if he felt prickling sensation. I felt a chill. Suddenly felt a strange presence a few steps away from me. I noticed some movement out of the corner of my eye. The air was shimmering in the way it does on hot days. It looked like a shadow generated by the game's engine, a shadow of a human, could have been a bug or an invisible player. As a game deck, I couldn't ignore these kinds of phenomena. Went back to Ed. He was sleeping like a log.
This game is so addictive.
Greetings, new player.
Ed, what can you tell me about Leanne? I got the impression you knew her. I do, from way back, but I can't tell you anything because it's not polite to gossip at all. I'm conducting an investigation here. I'm trying to help the other players. I just want to know who she is. I need that information. Well, if you're helping others, Leanne is the new character of a friend of mine. She came back to Harvest Time after a lengthy hiatus. She heads the Nanette Foundation in Realium. It's an organization that protects children. She's a good, honest person, that's all that I can say. But now I would like to take a nap. In the world of the virtual, you are what the gamers called the endgame. In your hands, the code becomes malleable like clay. what the others find impossible to break into, you crack effortlessly without interrupting your daydreams of snacking on dumplings. Okay, I can buy that. Sounds like fun. Incoming phone call from Bob Zappa.
Hi, I'm on my way to the next meeting. What's up?
I managed to get out of that meeting, but I'm on the way to the next one. Tell me, what is it about? I'm conducting an investigation in harvest time. I need intel on a certain player. Damn it, that kind of data is usually restricted. I can't help you myself, but I'll ask some friends. Who is it about? Ask about the sheriff, the outlaw, and Anna Lee. They are all from High Rock region. Any information would help. Every little detail matters. Sure, I'll ask around. I'll send you as soon as I find anything. Later.
Come, everything's for sale.
Could you tell me something about your life in Realium? Sure, it's not a secret. I work for the Ministry of Internal Affairs. I organize new holidays. Are you saying you're at work right now? You're on a couch somewhere in the ministry. That's right, sweetheart. We've got a lot of free time here. Currently we're working on Neighbor's Day. Neighbor's Day sounds interesting. We're talking Realium, not some in-game event, right? Yes, Realium needs holidays and events just as much as gamers do. The event is supposed to counteract the most common cause of depression in free Europe, loneliness. People go out to parking lots and squares carrying treats. Then the host will initiate conversations with simple icebreakers.
The weather's perfect. Just like every other day.
To be honest, it's possibly not that bad of an idea. When you have people who are extroverted, they just proposing it as a sort of fun activity and maybe providing some additional attractions, like, a cool location for people to meet at, can sometimes be enough for some people to try and get other people into it. Like, I could see it potentially sometimes maybe working a little to get people talking with each other. That's a really good idea. I would like to get to know my neighbors myself. Really, I think it's idiotic, but the office pays up to come up with this stuff, and I can play Harvest Time in the meantime.
Howdy.
I'm looking for information about the Outlaw. I heard the player was here recently. That's a new character, leveled up real quick and hold themselves up somewhere. I'm afraid that there might be another fraud. Another fraud? Do you think the Outlaw is working with someone? Is there some kind of a gang here? Hard to say. We had some trouble with that guy, Black Rook. He peddled illegal items and swindled people. The admins banned him at the sheriff's request. It's funny that she said that, since it was Betty who took over the Black Rook's business. I decided not to comment on it. What do you think about the sheriff, Betty? Well, what everyone in High Rock does. He's a solid and helpful player. I suppose you don't have an opinion yet? You're still new around here. He seems alright. I think he's alright. He is, and many High Rock inhabitants would confirm that. She laughs. Hold on, sweetheart. Betty leaned over and looked at me conspiratorially. You asked about that player. I know that Black Rook and the Outlaw were doing shady business together, but you didn't hear that from me. Betty winked at me and started arranging her wares.
It's good to see you.
Good morning. It's good to see you. How are things in High Rock? Sorry, I don't know anything. I'm just trying to stay away from other players for now.
I need to log out, but there is so much to do.
Hi, how's it going?
The cowgirl looked at me and made a strange gesture with her hand. I'm sorry for the way I reacted before. Pretzel was confiding in me. What is it you wanted?
You have to level up more.
They say you know a lot about horses. I'm considered the expert around here. I'm a decent rider too. Horse secrets are a hobby of mine, you could say. For instance, who else knows that a hungry horse stamps its hoof 3 times? I know it from the game. Games are great educational systems. Yeah, I doubt. I press X to doubt about the exact. Like, I could believe, maybe. I myself know nothing about horses, so I could believe that tapping their hooves could be a sign of being hungry, maybe. But, you know, the exact number of times, I'm pressing X to doubt. Does this girl actually believe what she's saying? It was nothing but nonsense. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. Horses don't behave like that in Realium. Some designer had the idea to have the animals communicate hunger like this, and they put it in. The girl made a weird gesture with her hand. The game is my reality, get it? So I'm in the right. Every now and then, the girl made strange uncoordinated hand movements, as if the info from her brain wasn't reaching her muscles. Something must have been wrong with her head, hands, or the innervation of her upper limbs. Are you okay? I was following your hand movements. Something's wrong with their innervation, isn't there? It shouldn't be so apparent in game, but...
Hey, you want to join the gang for the Pumpkin King raid?
Don't finish. I had an accident. I was fooling around with a faulty anti-G apron near a walkway and I fell. Lost both of my hands. You're regenerating them now, aren't you? Did you know there's a device called the Viator? It's capable of regrowing them from within. Obviously I know about it. It was the first thing they told me about. I can't afford it.
This game is so addictive.
They are rubbing stem cells on the stumps. They'll grow back in 6 months, I think. The doc said to find a game with horses that interacting them is hippotherapy. It's curative. Bye, I'll see you around. She gave me a wink. Bye.
Hi. I'm sensing you from the bathroom.
Cool, huh? You didn't have to tell me that. Anyway, got anything? Well, a friend from customer service dug up some data about these players. I didn't have to get a proper look yet, so I'll just read it out for you.
Have a nice day, farmer.
I looked into the sheriff guy. Suspicious stuff. It seems that he's using some kind of a cheat, a speed boost or timer manipulator. The sheriff's account is registered to a man called Mr. Lepsky, and Leanne's real name is Nanette Doucette. Now listen to this. The guy is a manager in her organization, Nanette's Foundation. I checked their in-game profiles, and there's not a single interaction between them, as if they didn't know they both play. Curious, huh? My guy from the hacks gained access to their VP cloud and find a record featuring Mr. Lepsky and Nanette, transcript enclosed. You owe me.
Sunset deals are the best part of the game.
I owe him that, not you. Anyway, I have to go back to the meeting. Is this any good? Okay, but what about the outlaw? Right, I forgot. It's a new anonymous account. If they are not registered within the first week, they will automatically get deleted. No, Bob, I do owe you. I'm sure this information will help me. Take care. I'm glad I could return the favor. Take care and good luck.
Hi, meet Pretzel, my horsey.
Howdy, stranger. I'm Hank the Gravedigger.
And I have the honor of being a gravedigger in this sunny establishment, and I don't sell coffins, so don't ask. I'm new here. Mind if we talk? Oh lord, if you have questions about the game, talk to Handy Joe by the platform. If you're interested in other topics, we can chat. You're a gravedigger, not a farmer. How did you get that role in the game? My farm is frozen right now. I need to work a town profession for a year to unlock the town resident achievement. The gravedigger gig happened to be available. The work is peaceful, it's basically world building, and nobody dies since they removed PvP. So, to be honest, what do you do all day? When it gets boring, I pop out to Realium to buy baby stuff. I can even sleep in-game, but my folks grumble about it. Runny nose, you know? This town resident achievement takes some dedication. You have to be in harvest time for that long, for a year. If I'm not in-game, players can report my absence, then the scripts can check it and decide if I can continue in this role. Last month, my activity dropped a little because of the divorce. I was moving in with my folks, I got reported and lost the role. Sheriff Billy vouched for me. He's the reason I kept my progress. He's a great man, believe me. I guess I could try expressing doubt and hear how they defend him. I've heard so many kind words spoken about this gentleman in town, it makes me suspicious. It's intuition, you see, a feeling that behind this facade there's a monster. That's a lot of good citizens. It's hard to believe they could simply be decent. Folks are always looking for ulterior motives. It's sad. I felt this strange presence that haunted me before. I knew I had to investigate it. There were two tools I could use. The inter-mirror program to pierce through the cloak, while Pain Ping launched a painful jamming impulse. I opened my deck, launched Intermirror, and turned it towards the supposed presence. I recognized a human silhouette without a material avatar. The structure of the cloaking code seemed familiar, but I couldn't say why. After a while, the shape disappeared. I knew that if I caught this ghost, I would be able to examine it more closely, maybe even talk to it. I resumed the conversation with the gravedigger. I saw something. You did look as if you just seen a ghost. Huh. What do you do in the real world? I work for Electrobank. I mean, I'm living with my parents now. I'm on their old couch as we speak. I'm pregnant, so I'm on the leave. And congratulations on the pregnancy, Hank. I didn't realize you had a uterus. That's a choice word of... That's a very crude sort of way to broach the subject. Well, I am a man, and I don't have a uterus. I mean, Cynthia, my beloved, doesn't consider me manly enough, which is why we got a divorce. I gave her the apartment, and she transferred the pregnancy to me. How exactly did she do that if you lack the necessary parts to carry a child inside you? Can you explain? Your wife transferred the pregnancy to you. You don't have a uterus, but you're with child? Where? Man, dinosaurs walking among us. I am not organically pregnant. My boy is in an external uterus at the White Cloud Clinic. Fair enough. He feels my actual movements, hears me like he would in a real uterus. He can even sense light if I'm in the sun. Oh, so it's... that's actually pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. So the baby itself, like the fetus, is in like virtual reality that's simulated by the actual reality that he's experiencing. So he can talk to like his own stomach, and there's nothing there, but the fetus can hear it, like in where it is, because they're connected sort of online. It recently got an upgrade. Now my little bud can feel virtual movements in the sensory worlds. He can see light, hear sounds, all of it. So I'm lounging in harvest time, enjoying nature and fresh air. Good for the baby. Can you tell me something about the residents of High Rock? No one dies, so I rarely get to speak to them. Besides, I don't like to gossip. I prefer to look at the sky. It's so beautiful. You stand here for days on end. You must see things others miss, like players who weren't here just to play the game. Just a minute ago, my old friend was pestering me for some stuff and got nothing. I haven't seen her in-game for months, and now she shows up as Leanne. I think it was Leanne, and just starts convincing me to... Oh, never mind. I'm lacking the proper careers to make him talk.
Hello again, dear player.
But there's a group of people walking around. I felt a sudden strong gust of wind. There was occasional mild breeze in this game, but nothing like this.
This game is so addictive.
It was either a hallucination, or I had just seen the falling dust arrange itself into an outline of a human being. Just as I expected, my invisible stalker reappeared. I had 2 more apps I could use to examine his activity, but both were illegal. To be honest, like, how illegal is it? What's the punishment for that? Just getting banned from the game, or can they like put me in jail? I'll try it. I could trace the player by performing either a safety scan or by putting on the Gamedec goggles. The scan was more reliable, but I risked drawing the admin attention.
Lovely day.
The goggles were safer, but the range was limited to my field of view. I'll go with the goggles because it's safer. Catching the ghost. Using the programmers that inform you about the ghost's location, catch it and force it into a duel. It was time for this little birdie to show itself. The goggles pointed me towards the ghost, but I only had a short while to find it. I had to hurry. I was determined to catch it, so I hurried in the direction suggested by the app. I had the enemy in the bag. I just had to restrain them. The freeze app I had in my deck was the best tool for the task. I opened the window and chose freeze, but my attack was ineffective. The enemy had some sort of a security program. There was something familiar about the software. It took me a moment, but I finally recognized it. They were Gamedec apps. I was up for a duel. My enemy didn't wait for an invitation and quickly launched the first attack. The enemy attacked me with web. It was a massive thing, one I wasn't prepared for. It hit me with full power and gave my opponent the lead. It seemed my enemy had access to a standard collection of apps, but so did I. I opened a window with an offensive and defensive program. To gain advantage in a duel, choose attacks that your opponent has not seen before and defenses that fit your opponent's attacks. Apps had different speeds and methods of operation. Successful attacks gave you an advantage, while a good defense helped you keep it. And those who lived by the sword, from what I remember, this app injected server queries into the opponent's code. It was basically a virus. My opponent answered with smokescreen. It was too slow. I was taking control. I was sure my opponent had already chosen an application. The enemy hit me with bow, focused and swift. I wondered if my enemy knew that one, the so-called query redirection, simple once you get the hang of it. My enemy became the target of his own attack. That must have surprised them, but I knew they would be more careful next time. Focused and fast. Let's go with dispersed and slow, because it's different. It was time to use web. This useful app, although he used it, that was a mistake possibly, because he used it before, so he clearly is very familiar with it. This useful app intensified jamming signals to the point where the enemy program started acting up. The enemy used shield. It was faster than the web, but the method was incorrect. They got hit. My opponent was preparing another attack. Sword slash. It was classic, but as well as it was classic as well as fast and focused. A massive program like that was sure to overload many of my enemies' apps. They didn't stand a chance. They didn't see it coming, but I knew they wouldn't fall for it again. That's how they began battles in medieval times, with a hail of arrows. In this case, a hail of requests that blocked the enemy's ports. The enemy answered with shield, too slow. I increased my efficiency and gained the advantage. My medical scan worked. It slowed the enemy progress. I disarmed my enemy, which allowed me to restrain them and check their identity. Alright, he really kicked my ass there. Let's talk. A female voice spoke to me. Who are you? Tell me. Relax, I'm a friend. I like your profession and I'm intrigued by your investigation. That's why I've been observing you at work. I don't want to say anything right now. Not here. Fine, but I don't appreciate being followed, eavesdropped on. And you still haven't answered my question. I'm a friend, and I'll try to prove it to you. As for all of the spying, I hope I can make it up to you somehow. What do you want from me? All I want is a friendly chat. One game deck to another. Sorry for all of this sneaking around. Would you accept my apology? Sure. Fine, we're cool. Really? Great. I didn't expect that. As a thank you, allow me to... Maybe I'll share some information. It might help you with your investigation. But I don't mean to force my solution on you too early, after all. I can be wrong, right? Finish your investigation, and let's meet to discuss our findings, preferably somewhere private. For example... do I even have a bedroom here? Although that sounds vaguely sort of... Because that sounds like hitting on her. And in a way that's pretty crude. Like, let's meet in my bedroom, herder. Like, come on. It's not a proposition I would give when first meeting someone. That's right. After you've completed the investigation and finished up your business, meet me where the tombstones grow, as a poet would say. Do you remember the way? You need to jump into the well or off the saloon roof. Both methods are fine. I'll see you in there. Good luck. The mysterious game deck vanished into thin air. A moment later, I received a text file in a private message. I scanned and opened it. The message said, "You really kicked my ass there, friend. Please accept the enclosed files with my compliments." I overheard the sheriff say something about a cheat called Speed Boost. There was also something else in the file. The outlaw and the sheriff. The outlaw that the sheriff is after is actually a new skin belonging to one of the Orange Folk farmers. She's a girl called Camellia. I collected this data by listening on players. You might find it useful. The message ended with a note. I would love to speak to you about this case. Remember the graveyard. I'll wait for you there. I have quite a lot of clues at this point, but I still have people to talk to. Specifically, there's you. What do we have here? Our favorite Twisted player. How fortunate. Oh, that's one of the girls from...
Hello. We have a few simple questions for you.
Well, actually, that's both of them. It will only take a moment, unless you're like Ben Bow. Don't be like Ben Bow. The girl scowled. Okay, go ahead. How long have you been playing Harvest Time? Not so long, less than a day. Question number 2. Have you ever been to the graveyard on the hill? Yes, I have. Have you heard about the Tree of Knowing? No, I don't think so. I saw a very large tree in Deep Past World in Deep Past World once. I think it was a sequoia. Is that what you mean? Sadly, no. The girl struggled to conceal her embarrassment. Another question. Have you ever experienced flashbacks that weren't yours? Have I? I have had some strange dreams, but I'm not sure if you could call them flashbacks that weren't mine. No, I have not. Do you ever feel like someone is telling you what to say, as if they have taken over your mind and will? Oh, I can't say yes, which is kind of ironic because I do feel like that, because that someone is the player, right? but it is pretty interesting that I can't say yes. I think that's symptomatic of something in the universe, possibly. Because I literally can't. It says no here, deny here, and stop the survey. No, not at all. I felt a wave of intense anxiety. A part of me flipped upon hearing the question, and made me say no. Easy, we're just talking, okay? It should go smoothly now. Give me any number that comes to your mind. Oh, is that? That's pretty interesting. Because 314 is something that the virus in TNP mentioned. Like 314 Faces of the Devil or whatever. 314. 304. What? What kind of question is that? What are you trying to drag me into? Take it easy, don't freak out, it's cool. Yeah, thanks. Your turn. Is there anything you would like to ask us? Why are you asking about the Tree of Knowing? We're collecting info for our clan. It's a top secret mission, you know, so we can't tell you much. Actually, we don't know much either. If you learn anything, make sure to let us know. Totally. Come back with solid info on the tree and you won't regret it. The Horn clan knows how to return a favor. What was behind the question about the number? That 314, does it mean anything? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. We're not quite sure, but we're checking it out. Actually, it's not the first time we've heard such a response from an interviewee. Maya shot her a look, and Mia stopped short. But the fact is, you reacted quite oddly to that number, and it may mean something. So how's the clan doing? What was the name? It starts with an H, right? Oh man, the Hon clan, the best org in the world, the most profound message, concept, narrative. It's a riot, dude. Make sure to drop into Knight's Code. That's where our headquarters are. Jeez, it's so amazing. Like everything's starting to make sense. I'm conducting an investigation and I'm collecting information about residents. You've answered our questions, so we owe it to you. What do you mean in particular? Do you know the player called the Outlaw? No. Yes, I mean no. I mean, we've never met any outlaw, but people say that this guy, an outcast. I heard he pissed off the sheriff himself, and now he's looking to bail out to the another level. They also say that he's covered by Rusty Ed, and it's the only reason the sheriff hasn't nailed him yet. I hope we helped at least a bit.
Hello. We have a few simple questions for you.
I guess I can't ask them the other things.
I hate this fucking game.
Okay, you know what? I'm looking at the timer and I think this episode has been long enough, so I'm going to pause it here. That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.